called Exposed. Right. It's a bit of a rock-umentary.
Yeah.
It's an exposition, isn't it?
Yeah. An expose. What we wanted to do, the record company initially approached us and said, why don't we put out the last 8 or 9 videos in a compilation package? And quite honestly, what we felt in the States was, if that's all it is, then we'd just as soon tell our fans to tape it off MTV, you know, because there's really no need to get people paying for something that they can have for free. In other words, it would almost be like subsidizing the cost of making the video in the first place, which I don't think is anything that the fans should have to do. You do the videos as almost a gift to the fans, and then you're turning around and saying, pay for it. So if we were going to put out a package, we felt, let's make it special. Let's give vintage footage, which is a lot of the stuff that I think...
We should mention here, actually, what is actually on this video. There's archive material.
Yeah, there's live material, as in
black and white stuff that goes back. Some of it has never been televised or telecast.
Yeah, when we were it's an open. There's films of us as an opening act, you know. So we were playing a hall for about 3,800 people as the support band, and there's you know, just really stuff that chronicles the band.
But a lot of it is us swimming around, fooling around with a lot of scantily clad females in Paul's summer home in Los Angeles, which is this big palatial house of decadence. It says so as you pull up to it. It says 3819 Mockingbird Lane, House of Decadence. It says so right on the...
So it's fun. I mean, there's great footage. There's also all the videos. There's also interviews with us. There's some beautiful women. You know, sometimes when you buy Playboy and those magazines, you try to tell people that you're buying them to read the articles. But when you buy this, you can say you're buying it for the Kiss videos, when you're actually buying it to see the scantily clad women.
You mentioned very briefly that there's a lot of bands these days that have obviously been influenced by the Kiss of the 70s. How do you view those bands, with, in particular, bands like Wasp or Twisted Sister, who've obviously copped a lot of your look and music?
I think it's
fun. You can't ever... Every band's got to live or die by their own talent, and everybody listens to other bands. We certainly grew up... We don't make any claims to being, you know, the most unique and totally original band that ever existed. We also grew up and listened to other bands, and were likewise influenced by the bands that we grew up with, specifically a lot of British bands. I just got choked up by that. You know, Zeppelin, The Who, a lot of English bands, specifically the more flamboyant of the bands. And so these bands were influenced by us, and, you know, that's the cycle. Rock lives on, and it's fine.
You also can't negate that bands every day are influenced by each other. I mean, it's not necessarily only saying new bands. I mean, just by reason of the fact that we're all playing music, you're influenced by what's going on around you. And I wouldn't want to be so pig-headed to think that, you know, we're this magical force that created a genre of music, right? You know, I think naturally everything is always influenced by what came before it, what's going on currently. So maybe the nice thing is that who knows if we have good taste or bad taste, but there's other bands that seem to have the same taste.
The next Kiss World Tour begins at the start of November, I believe, in America. How long are you going out for this time, and where will you be going?
Until we drop. We have no particular plans. We have the first couple of months booked, and we'll probably stay out, you know, 8 months to a year.
We'll do the States, and that'll take quite a bit of time. You can easily stay in the States for 6 or 7 months and never play the same hall and do 5 shows a week, you know, and play arenas from coast to coast. So we'll do that, and then after that we'll probably gear up to do Europe. I mean, we're definitely,
right.
Yeah, we're definitely, you know, definitely going to be here. Ideally, we'd like to come over during summer and do festivals, because the one thing that's sometimes difficult for us is when people are seeing photos of us and hearing about our show, sometimes when you come to Europe, you have to compromise that, because quite honestly, some of the stages that we've used, we'd have to knock out the side walls in some of the halls to get that thing in. So by playing arenas, we're a bit limited, but to do the festivals, we'd be able to do the whole show. and that's real important to us at this point. I don't think we want to compromise that, especially for the fans.
We also
When a band gets to the stage where it's released 16 or 17 albums, as KISS have now done, the question always arises, how much longer can they keep this up for? Do you see KISS continuing into the 1990s and keeping up the same relentless success that you enjoyed in the 70s and 80s?
It's
It's
a big
so-
question.
Yeah, it's so hard to say. All you can do is continue something as long as it's fun. And if it's not fun for the people that you're doing it for, then it's not going to be fun for you. And vice versa. I mean, if you're not enjoying it, I think people are going to see through what you're doing and say, well, they're going through the motions. So it's kind of like a party. I mean, when you're at a party, you don't worry about how long you're going to stay. As long as it's fun, you're there. And so far, this has been an endless party. The refrigerator's still stocked. There's still something to drink. There's good food to eat.
And lots of girls.
And lots of girls.